Broc Rutter set NCAA Division III career passing records, then signed with the San Francisco 49ers for a $279 bonus. In 2019, he led North Central to victory in the NCAA Division III football championship game and a 14-1 record. Across 4 seasons, he became the division's career passing leader. His final season included 4,591 passing yards and 56 touchdowns for North Central. Those achievements did not prevent him from going undrafted in the 2020 NFL Draft. When San Francisco signed him on April 28, the team had only $279 left for undrafted free agent bonuses. His agent, Mike McCartney, advised him to frame the check, saying it might be the smallest ever. The payment documented the team's remaining budget, not Rutter's college record. On July 27, one day before training camp began, the 49ers waived him. The record holder's brief NFL opportunity ended before camp opened. A tower failure in Florida delayed WTWC-TV, and its owner later said it stopped a planned station in Marshall, Texas. The FCC gave a different explanation. Internal business decisions caused that delay. WTWC-TV was building an 800-foot tower near Tallahassee. Crews hoisted a 1.7 short-ton antenna toward the top using a construction crane. The planned launch was January 30, timed for NBC's Super Bowl XVII broadcast. The contractor had not accounted for that crane in the tower's design. During installation, the structure twisted, forcing crews to replace its top 40 feet. The repair erased the planned January 30 launch. The repair work was completed by April. WTWC-TV debuted April 21 with a temporary antenna. It then went off-air for one full day while crews lowered and retuned it. Holt Robinson later blamed the tower problems for preventing its Marshall project. The FCC, however, attributed the delay to internal business decisions, leaving the cross-state connection disputed. Both explanations remain part of the account. By the end of 1993, Papua New Guinea's foreign reserves covered only 2 weeks of non-mining imports. In the first half of 1994, the deficit reached 11% of GDP. The pressure built as debt rose while Australian budget support declined. Closing the Panguna mine cut government tax revenue by 20% from 1990 onward, weakening a major income stream. External debt increased 50% from 1989 to 1993, while domestic debt almost tripled by 1994. Borrowing could no longer bridge the gap. In July 1994, the Bank of Papua New Guinea suspended additional financing. Departments then needed payment authorization from the Department of Finance. The government delayed non-essential payments, pushing some obligations into arrears. In August, it devalued the kina while payment controls tightened around everyday government spending. A 1995 reform program restructured spending and financial management. The deficit narrowed and the budget eventually recorded a small surplus, though growth remained slow until the early 2000s. Africa recorded economic growth, yet manufacturing often stayed limited as economies remained tied to raw material exports and later shifted toward services. Colonial policies favored open economies and the immediate export of raw materials, with little investment in domestic manufacturing. After independence, governments tried state-led industrialization and import substitution, but many countries still depended on raw material exports to finance development. Debt crises and trade liberalization in the 1980s and 1990s coincided with widespread deindustrialization and greater pressure from global competition. From 1965 to 2005, industrial value added stayed near 31% to 33% of GDP. Later commodity-driven growth often moved economies from agriculture into services, bypassing manufacturing. An operetta soprano became the face of Coca-Cola's early print advertising, and her likeness also appeared on trays and calendars. Hilda Clark was already a recognized stage performer. In 1896, she became a prima donna with the Bostonians, a company known for light opera. Her career crossed concert singing and operetta. The advertising connection came through Elmo Massingale's firm. Clark worked there as a model from the late 1890s until 1904. Massingale's firm handled Coca-Cola advertising during these years. The same likeness moved beyond paper advertisements. Coca-Cola used it on trays and produced Hilda Clark calendars, extending one model's image across everyday merchandise. Those objects carried the campaign into stores and domestic spaces. Her image appeared in the early 20th century ad Drink Coca-Cola 5 cents. In 2015, a company representative credited Clark as Coca-Cola's first Coke ambassador in a print ad. The record survives in both advertising and merchandise. Papua New Guinea passed OLIPPAC to stop MPs switching sides and toppling governments. In 2010, its Supreme Court ruled those behavioral restrictions unlawful. Before 2002, governments repeatedly changed mid-term. Parties were often built around personalities and alliances, so MPs could move between parties and coalitions. This pattern became known as yo-yo politics. OLIPPAC, effective in 2001, formalized party membership through a registration system and discouraged candidates from running as independents. It presumed the largest party would get the first chance to form a government and created a formal opposition office. MPs also faced limits on voting against their party line or withdrawing support from its government. But the rules were confusing and difficult to enforce. Many MPs violated them, yet none were expelled from parliament. Enforcement raised concerns about executive control. In 2010, the Supreme Court called the restrictions draconian and struck them down. Party registration, funding, and the largest party rule remained. Kediri's mayor also managed its football club, then gave key players municipal jobs after the team won Indonesia's 2003 national championship. Uchmad Mashut served as Kediri's mayor from 1999 to 2009. During that tenure, he managed Persik Kediri, the city's football club. His role combined municipal leadership with direct responsibility for the club's operations. Persik won the Liga Indonesia Cup in 2003. That championship placed the club's players at the center of a municipal decision. The victory was the first of 2 Liga Indonesia titles during his tenure. Afterward, Mashut gave civil servant positions to key players on the team. The record names no players, job titles, or hiring process. Persik won again in 2006, while Mashut remained mayor through 2009, linking the club's later title to the same mayoral tenure. The available account records the sequence but does not state Mashut's reason for making the appointments. Lawrence Stern became famous for the body comic novel Tristram Shandy, then sold sermons under the voice of its clergyman character, Mr. Yorick. Stern was already an Anglican clergyman with hundreds of sermons delivered and 45 published. His earlier sermons appeared before literary fame, but they did not create this market. Tristram Shandy made one sermon, Abuses of Conscience, part of a comic scene and attributed it to Parson Yorick. Readers could now recognize the clergyman as a character from the celebrated novel. The novel's scene added interruptions and commentary around the sermon, linking religious prose to Stern's comic persona. In 1760, Stern published the Sermons of Mr. Yorick, turning that name into a book identity. More than 660 subscribers helped finance the collection. The first collection contained 15 sermons in 2 volumes. The sermons were reprinted more often than Stern's novels at first. Later, as religious writing became less popular, interest declined.